So I don't know if you're watching this and you're a Christian, or you're watching this and you're not. But either way, I want to tell you a few things. For those of you who are Christians, God has taught you stuff. He's taught you through your friends, He's taught you through your family, He'll have taught you through the Bible, and if you're really lucky, He might have even taught you through your church. He's been with you through everything that's been going on. He's been with you through lockdown, He's been with you at school, He's been with you at work, He's been with you if you're walking in a field. You see, it's because He loves you. Now, I've been reading this book. Well, actually, it's a letter. It's a letter by a bloke called Paul to his friend Timothy. Now, Paul and Timothy have known each other for some time, and Paul is writing to Timothy to give him some instructions. Now, it's a book that's in the Bible, this one, and it's actually called Timothy because, well, that's who it's to. Now, Paul's writing this book to Timothy after he's dropped him off in Ephesus. Now, Ephesus is a place in what is now modern-day Turkey. And the reason he's dropped him off in Turkey is because, well, Paul's been on these journeys before. And when Paul was on one of these journeys, he went to Ephesus and he was preaching about Jesus and about how great Jesus is and everything about Jesus, and people wanted to follow him. People wanted to know who this Jesus was. People wanted to become Christians, followers of Jesus Christ. So he set up a church. Only over time, and we're talking quite some time, over time, some of their ideas went a little bit skew-if, went a little bit wayward. Some of their thoughts and understandings maybe weren't quite right. So next time Paul goes there, he goes with Timothy and he leaves Timothy behind with instructions on how to correct them, with instructions on how to help them be the very best Christians they could be. There's all sorts of instruction in there. There's instruction about how to correct a leader. There's instruction in there on what to do when you're looking after widows. There's instruction on there about how to love each other. There's loads of stuff in there. But there's one issue with this. One really quite big issue. You see, Timothy is only young. And he's been sent with authority from Paul to correct the elders and the teachers of this church. Sounds like it might be a bit difficult. But the important thing in all this is to remember that God does not see your age as a barrier. In fact, He barely sees your age at all, because as far as God's concerned, how old you are is irrelevant when it comes to what you can do for Him. I'll give you a couple of examples. There's a guy in the Bible called Abraham. Now, Abraham comes along right near the beginning of the story. Abraham is the father of God's people. He's the one from whom all of them can trace their lineage. But he hasn't got any kids. And he's 100 years old. But God still blesses him. God still says, you're going to be the father of a nation. And he is. His wife is 90. And neither Abraham's age or Sarah, his wife's age, mean anything to God. If He says something's going to happen, it's going to happen. And then there's this guy called David. Now, David is only little. He's just a boy when he goes and kills Goliath and saves the Hebrew people. Because as far as God is concerned, your age doesn't matter. It is irrelevant. He can still do whatever He wants with you, no matter how old you are. You can do anything, no matter how old you are, in Him. Also, God doesn't love you more because you're younger. He doesn't love you more because you're older. He doesn't love you more because you're wiser. He doesn't love you more because of anything at all. He just loves you. And I was trying to work out a way to describe just how much God loves each and every one of us. See, He loves us all the same. But let me give you an example. Up above me, there are some clouds. Now just imagine that the clouds are God's love. And God says, this is how much love I have for you. So I'm going to take these clouds and I'm going to sort of funnel them into you. Just imagine all of the clouds, I mean all of the clouds, being God's love and being funneled into you and filling you up. And more clouds are coming. And then there's more clouds and just filling you up. Or how about this? You ever been to the seaside? So you're at the seaside and there's lots of sea. Well, imagine the sea is God's love and you're standing in the sea and it's all around you. And God says, my love isn't just all around you. I want you to know my love, so my love's going to be all inside you as well. just imagine that all of the sea ends up inside you, that it just gets poured in and poured in and poured in, and somehow it's starting to fit, but it can't possibly fit. Surely there's too much love. And then there's more, and God goes, actually there's not enough love in the whole sea, so I'm just going to make some more. That's how much God loves you. And he loves you right where you are. He loves you whatever you're doing, whether you're walking in a field or whether you're sat at home watching this on your phone. Now, the world we live in at the moment is a really strange place. And some of you are probably just about to go from year 6 to year 7. And normally I do loads of transition lessons with year 6s in primary schools. I go into their schools and we talk about all sorts of things, like the choices and the challenges that they have to face when they move from their primary school to their secondary school. Only I haven't done any of those this year. There just hasn't been the opportunity. Now, I'm sure that if you are a year 6 going up to year 7, that the school you're going to will be fully prepared, that it will be ready for you, and that they'll be able to teach you a little bit about what it looks like before you get there, as soon as they know what it looks like. And some of you are probably year 11s. Year 11s who have been looking forward, maybe, to sitting their GCSE exams, and that all got taken away from them. Now that's got to be really hard. You spend all that time studying and learning and preparing for that moment when you're going to do your exams. You do your mocks, you look at your results, you work out where you can improve so that you're ready for the real thing. And then it doesn't happen. The rest of you are sat at home doing the work that school has set for you, or trying to teach the work that school has set for someone else. And it's just so difficult. And it's difficult for one really important reason. TikTok is so distracting. Now, I don't know if you're watching this and you're 11, or you're 14, or you're 17, or you're really old like me. But no matter who you are and how old you are, the situation you're in can sometimes feel really overwhelming. And it can feel really difficult, and you can feel sad, you can feel lonely, and it can feel really rough. But there's this song, you see, that Michael W. Smith wrote a couple of years ago, and it sort of sums up a little bit about how I'm feeling at the moment, and I'm sure how some of you are too. Because it's easy when we look at our situation and we're feeling a bit rough, and we're just feeling like this isn't working. And it's easy to think that things aren't going the right way. And sometimes we need to get things into perspective.
This is how I fight my battles. 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 It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you.
I'm going to leave you with one of the things that Paul said to Timothy in that letter. He said this: "Do not let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity." Set an example. Set an example. Let people see the difference that God makes in you. Because it doesn't matter how old you are, we can always be an example for other people of just how much God loves us and the difference that that makes. You know, I don't think that God's necessarily going to ask you to start a nation, and he's probably not going to get you to throw a rock at someone and kill them. But God will have things for you to do, and he'll have things for you to do that you can do with him. I really think that we can use this time as a time of restoration, of putting things right, of spending time with God, because, well, we've got some time, haven't we? We can use this time to rebuild stuff, to repair things that are broken, relationships that are frayed at the edges, so that we're ready. When we start to return to normality, when we're allowed to go and see people, we're ready to be that example, so that we can let people see the difference that God makes in our lives. So do not let people look down on you because you are young. Be the difference. Now, there is one little bit more that I want to add at the end. but it's really for those who are sort of 25 and older, you know, those of us who maybe aren't at school anymore, put it that way. So if you're still at school, if you're under 25, let's say, you can turn off now. You can go back to TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram. And it's a secret bit at the end because I wanted to explain something to you. You see, when Paul tells Timothy not to let people look down on him because he is young, Timothy's in his mid-30s. So you know what? If Paul regards Timothy as young when he's in his mid-30s, I think there's probably hope for all of us, even those of us who are in our mid-30s.